Barry Stephen and Mathew Percival are the dynamic duo behind the Starting Monday podcast. As certified personal trainers, they bring the perfect blend of expertise and enthusiasm to guide you on your journey to a healthier, happier lifestyle. I'm absolutely delighted to have them on the podcast today, so let's find out a bit more about them. Well, Barry Stephen, Mathew Percival, welcome to the Journey Home podcast. And I've got to say I'm a big fan of the Starting Monday podcast. We've got two gym guys here.
Yeah, we're here.
So tell us a bit about yourselves. Start with you, Mathew. How did you get into fitness? And
how did I get into fitness? It's a good question, to be fair. It's not very exciting. Basically, initially I wanted to, out of school, I was quite sporty in school, etc., doing basketball, football, that sort of stuff. Similar to Barry, he did football as well, I'm guessing.
No way you did football.
You did play football, right?
I'm saying no way you did football.
I played football as defence, mate. That wasn't very good. And then I was going to join the army out of school, and then I had asthma, and like, oh, you can't join, you got 4 years. So I was like, oh, what will I do? And they were like, you go to college. So I went to college, did the HND, and then I just kind of fell into PT, and then I just kept going, I guess. I just kept doing it.
Where are you up to now then with it?
Yeah, I'm now a fitness manager at a gym, Energy Fitness in Inverurie. I also PT still as well, so I kind of balance the both. We've got quite a lot of PTs that I look after, and then I also do a bit of PT on top of that as well. It's been good.
What about you, Barry? How did you get into it?
Well, I guess sport fitness, exercise has always been a bit of a passion. Growing up, I was kind of involved in like a lot of football teams, athletics, that sort of thing. But I went to university, did a degree in sport and leisure management, mainly because I couldn't get into sports science. I didn't have
sport and leisure management.
Didn't have the grades to do that degree, which would have been ideal for me. But like leaving university, I was a bit confused, a bit lost, and eventually ended up getting a job in a gym as a cleaner, believe it or not.
Were you a cleaner first?
I was a cleaner.
Weird. What gym?
So a gym in Perth, it no longer exists, but it's called Healthworks.
Healthworks. Were you a good cleaner?
I was a fantastic cleaner.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah,
were you kind of just cleaning and looking at the weights and eyeing them up and thinking one of these days I'm going to pick them up?
I bet he was a crap cleaner. And like, we've got to make him into a PT.
Going
He can't clean anymore.
Do you know what? It was kind of strange. Like I left university again, a little bit lost, not sure what to do. Just wanted to get a job and start earning some money. Never even thought about owning a gym or anything like that. But I had to get something. I had to get a job basically. My friend at the time, he was a general manager of this gym, and then he was like, we have a vacancy for a cleaner. You can have it if you want.
Well, your mate was a general manager, and he said, "I've got a cleaner job."
Yeah, well,
not a great job. You can clean. Yeah, you can clean.
It's better than nothing, is it?
Good mate, yeah.
It's a good start.
You start at the bottom and work your way up.
When people come into, obviously, I run my own gym now. I've got my own team of personal trainers. But when young guys start with us, I always make sure I let them know that, I started at the bottom. So
you're cleaning.
So you need to clean as well.
Get the marigolds on, you're cleaning. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so and lads, you've started the Starting Monday podcast.
Yeah,
now,
we upload weekly.
Aye.
Ish.
But I love the title, Starting Monday, or like, what does Starting Monday mean in fitness? This is because people say I'm going to start on Monday all the time.
To be fair, it was your name, wasn't it? You came up with it. I'm pretty sure it was you. Yeah. It's quite good, isn't it? Yeah.
To be fair, the podcast is driven from Mathew. Mathew been chipping away at me, asking me to do this podcast for probably close to a year, and I just kept saying, yeah, we'll get round to it. We'll do it.
To be fair, you do all the editing and all that, so I've offloaded.
There was always something else that was in the way of getting started. So it's we've kind of called it Starting Monday because we delayed it so much. But I feel like it relates a lot to people in general when they want to start a diet or they want to start a fitness regime, or I'll start Monday. There's no way I'm starting it on a Friday, or no way I'm starting it on a 100%. Saturday. I'll start Monday and I'll go from there. And it's a little bit of a sort of dig at that mentality, isn't it? Because we don't want people to think about starting on Monday. We want people to think about starting now, whatever day it is.
I do have people say you upload every Monday then. I'm like, no.
Well,
next Monday. It's the next Monday.
Here's the thing. So like, we're approaching the festive season now.
Yeah.
There must be so many people with that mentality that they're just like, I'm not starting anything until after Christmas. or
Oh
in
yeah,
the new
100%.
year?
Yeah. It's a weird time of year where no one really wants to put any work in or like
Aye.
get to the gym. Like we even see it. We're a commercial gym, so we've quite a lot of members, and you see it just like the attendance kind of drop off. But some days you'll have like it's a Tuesday and it's really busy again, but the following Tuesday is dead again. So it's one of those time of years where it's like everyone's really inconsistent more than they're completely putting it off. You know what I mean? They're all thinking, I'll start January. Maybe we should call our podcast Starting January.
So it's kind of up to us to get everyone to think about, you know, why they started in the first place, and then they'll not drop off. I think anyway. That's what I always sort of like really focus on.
Yeah, I've definitely been guilty of saying I'm going to start on Monday. I've definitely said that in my life. I'll do it on Monday. But what is it? I mean, what can you tell someone to get them past that mentality and get them beyond, even if they do come in on Monday? How do you keep them there? How do you keep someone going?
Well, for me, if you were to start with me, I'm going to say, right, why are you here? Like, you tell me exactly why you're here, and you're gonna obviously start, you know, explaining the reasons why you have sort of made the journey into the gym, sitting in front of me right now and telling me exactly why you want my help. Hopefully, and then hopefully you're quite honest and truthful about that, and like you start to think about the real reasons that's maybe stopped you for the last 3 or 4 weeks getting to this point, and now got you over the line, got you over the door, and you just have to keep reminding people about that. You know, when you feel like quitting, remember why you started. So I put that on our t-shirts and things like that, because I really think it's a really good slogan, a really good way to think about it. And I just think you have to keep reminding yourself of what your goal is, what your aim is, what your ambition is. And if you keep coming back to that, and if it means something to you, if it means a lot to you, and you understand how it makes you feel, and you know how the opposite makes you feel, I think it can be a good driver.
I think reminding, yeah, is key. I have people get a goal and they come and they chat about it. I have a lot of clients and you got to go, yeah, remember you want to achieve this. And they go, yeah, of course. And they get motivated again. Well, you have to keep reminding them their goal, don't you? Really?
Yeah, because some people do come in and say, like, yeah, I'm here because I want to lose weight. But like, yeah, but there's a lot of people here that want to lose weight. But why do you want to lose weight? You know, tell me the reasons why you want to lose weight. And then that's sort of like taking it a step further, I feel, till you're really digging deep.
Because they want to like look good for an occasion or something like that.
Yeah. I want something more than that I can work with. You know what I mean? Like, it could be, you know, it could be something simple like, I just don't feel comfortable with myself. I want to look better for my wife. I want to look better for me. Or I might be single. I want to be more attractive to the opposite sex.
Got a holiday coming.
It might be nothing to do with that mentality. It might be more about health. It might be like, you know, I've started to get health issues. I've been to the doctors, this, that, the next thing. And then, you know, that could be the driver. Or it might just be like, yeah, I want to be a good role model for my children. I've got 2 young children. I'm a bit lazy. They're asking me to play, go out in the garden, do this, do that. And, you know, it's a bit of a chore, and I just want that energy. Do you know what I mean? These are things that are like, oh yeah, that's why you're going to go to the gym the day you don't want to go.
Yeah, but then you do have to remind them sometimes, don't you?
Yeah.
If they're coming and then they go, I don't really want to come anymore. You're like, well, remember your goal was to lose 10 kilograms. You still want to do that? They're like, yeah, of course I do. Go, well, let's go then. Let's come to the gym. Let's do it.
You must get folk coming in, I mean, who've not been in for a very long time, and do they, you know, come in on day one and just absolutely tear the arse out of it? Like, hit it hard.
100%. Yeah. You get people drop off as well, and it is a struggle for a lot of people. And it is like, again, back to the starting Monday, where something happens in their life and they get put off it, like something maybe quite severe, like a family issue or whatever, or a health issue, and then they struggle to get back into it and find that motivation again. And it is always good when you see people come back in and like ask for that help again. They want to start again, like let's do it. But yeah, you do get the people who come in and it's like hammer themselves after a tough weekend, and it's like, then you don't see them till Friday. They're absolutely broken. I couldn't walk for 3 days afterwards, which again is not a great way of doing it. You kind of want to build back into it and slowly build back up.
You know, I got a story to tell you. I went to the gym the other day with my son in Montrose, and I said, right, we'll do a mile each on the treadmill. I haven't run a mile in years, right? So he's young, right? He's only 10, and he's running on the treadmill. He was doing 5.5 miles an hour. And I thought, I'm going to put mine up to 5.7, right? So just so I beat him, you know. And then he's looked over at me and he's seen that I've done this, and
Cranked up.
he's crept his up, you know.
You got to, yeah.
So by the end of the mile, we're both doing 10 miles an hour. and I'm absolutely dying, you know, and he's running along no bother. He's just like a feather, you know. But that was like 3 days ago, and my shoulders and around my lungs and my legs still aching
Still sore.
from a mile. I
Yeah,
haven't done a mile
yeah.
in a long
To be
time.
fair, I would do that as well. Like if I was running, I'd be sore for like a week after.
You don't run much?
Yeah, oh no, terrible runner.
No?
Terrible runner. This guy's a runner now. I
do
used to run.
I do a bit.
I used to run in school though. I did like cross country and all that, and then football, if you can believe that. But God, I can't run anymore. It's awful.
No.
It's hard work. You do it. Still running?
Yeah, yeah. I was running the other day actually. Yeah.
5K?
No, I was actually on and off the treadmill. I was doing like shorter stuff, like more speed based work, intermittent with like
What, on your-
some other
Your
exercises.
curvy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're quite
Yeah.
good.
But I was actually saying to my colleague, because I was doing like 3 exercises: treadmill, ski erg.
Oh yeah, you
and-
posted a little
air
selfie,
bike.
didn't you? You posted a selfie.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
burning a certain amount of calories on each one, and as many rounds as possible in a certain period. So it was like 12 calories on the treadmill, 12 calories on the ski erg, 12 on the air bike.
Which one takes the longest there to burn 12?
The air bike must be the worst though.
No, the air bike, an air bike, a rower, and a ski erg are all very, very similar in terms of
Yeah.
like time it would take for effort. But the treadmill's a bit longer. Treadmill takes a little bit longer. But I was saying to him, yeah, that I was like, he was like, oh, which one do you find the hardest? I was like, do you know what? Running's definitely hard.
Is it? We got air bikes in the gym now and they're tough. We did a little 1 minute sprint challenge. How many calories can you burn in a minute? And people were coming off that like sitting
fact-
down for like 10 minutes.
In fact,
afterwards and
Michael,
not
now that we've
moving.
got you a camera on you, right? I'm going to get you into the gym, all right? And we're going to do that exact workout.
I could do it. I'd be
He just said he
more
ran a
than
mile.
happy to do that.
He said he ran a mile and almost died. We're gonna do running into the assault bike.
Yeah. No, I would do it. I definitely do it. I like a chat. That actually takes me something, Barry. You've done loads of challenges.
I have.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Yeah, I've done a lot.
Yeah,
You've done
you're
a lot
more
of challenges.
interested
You
than I
did
thing is-
you've done the high rocks recently. You did that 15-week thing last year as well. Is that something you use to motivate someone who's wanting to get fit as well? You know, try and get them to take on some kind of challenge.
Well, I've done all these things, but I've never, I'm not saying I've done well at them. You know what I mean? I have done a few things.
I wasn't
bodybuilding.
going to say anything. I wasn't going to
Bodybuilding.
say anything.
Powerlifting.
You were all right at
Various
powerlifting. You
different-
just bottled your squat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, I guess I use it twofold. One to motivate myself, but also to motivate other people as well. Because I think that, you know, as a personal trainer, you're setting an example to your clients, or you're a role model. You know what I mean? So you're trying to inspire other people to sort of come out of their comfort zones. And every time I've done something like you just mentioned there, the high rocks, or running a marathon, or doing a bodybuilding show, I've well and truly 100% came out of my comfort zone to the point where, you know, I'm shitting myself, you know? And
Was it the bodybuilding? The shitting yourself?
well, actually shit,
Yeah.
probably.
Good times.
But like, yeah, I've only done bodybuilding once. Like, there's no way I'm a bodybuilder. But, you know, taking yourself to that level where you're like, you know, as lean as you can possibly be, and you've got to put on the skimpiest pair of pants, and you've got to walk out in front of maybe 200-300.
Oh my goodness, I just can't imagine. Like, what's that like?
A load of other
He
guys.
does it
with
every
skimpy
year on
pants
holiday.
on.
And everybody else wants to look better than you do as well.
Yeah. I've never came across a moment of sheer fear when you're lining up to go out from behind the curtain, and I've just thought, even though I've put in probably 9 months of effort,
Yeah.
or more than that, like into this, I've thought, I'm going to turn around. I'm not doing
Yeah.
it.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess it's hard to critique yourself, right?
Just fear of like making a fool of yourself, and not like I think I don't know about you, but I think even when I did powerlifting, there's that fear of failure. But I eventually use that fear it's like a driver. It drives me on to like to be as best as you possibly can on the day. And I must have done all right, because I came third and got a trophy.
You did, yeah. Got a trophy.
I did all right.
Completed it, mate. You could have got third at your powerlifting as well, couldn't you?
Well, the thing with
You keep bringing this up. Matthew.
Well, the thing
He's
is,
brushing over it. He's brushing over
to
it.
be honest with you, if you were when you do something for the first time, you shouldn't go into it with the mentality that you're going to win.
No, you shouldn't. Yeah. You should go open-minded, have some fun.
If you want to win these sort of things, you need to go in it for the long term. So you need to go back next year, the year after, build your experience, and then start competing with the more experienced people. But powerlifting, you're kind of competing against yourself, unless you're like one of the really top lifters there for your for your weight category. You kind of know if you're going to win it or not based on what everyone's lifting to begin with.
You know who's, like, for example, you know who, if some certain people show up, etc., are going to compete. Like, know where you're going to sort of.
So you're competing.
Line up.
You're really competing with yourself.
Yeah.
Or maybe one or two people around about you, just for motivation.
100%. Yeah.
But
100%.
But yeah.
Would you do any of them again?
Well, the High Rocks thing
you're doing that
kind of
again.
intrigues me a little bit, and I feel like that's something that I can continue and keep in my program.
Barry, just explain High Rocks again.
Okay, so High Rocks is a fairly new fitness phenomenon that's sort of grew in the last couple of years, but it's a fixed event that you'll find all across the world, really. But you can get them in they'll be in different locations across the UK over the course of a year. There's one in March in Glasgow. But it's a fixed event, and it's basically running intermittent with exercise. So it's like run a kilometre, do an exercise for a set weight for a set amount of reps or distance, run a kilometre, and it goes like that. So you start with a run, and then you go into an exercise, run, exercise, run, exercise, run, exercise, and you try to do the sequence as quickly as you can. All right, so you're always, so if you go back and do it again in a future date or location, it'll be the exact same format. You can try and beat your time, and there's different elements to it.
What type of fitness would that suit?
It would definitely suit somebody that is, first of all, like quite good at running, because there's like 8 to 9 kilometers of running.
Okay.
There's 8 1K runs plus a little bit more run in between. So you're running 9 kilometers. So if you're good at running or you come from that background, then you're probably that's probably a good start. But there is other elements to it. You need to be strong. You need to be good endurance, good muscular endurance, good leg strength, for example. Because there's events like pushing a sled, pulling a sled, squatting and throwing a medicine ball 10 foot in the air for 100 reps. Lunging, farmer's walks, row machine.
Is there a certain height with a medicine ball, or you can throw any height?
No. There's a set height. It's slightly lower for women and then slightly higher for men.
You can't just do a half throw and that's accepted.
No.
Is the women's
standards.
ball the same weight, or is it?
No, it's lighter.
Lighter and then it's lower. All right.
It's lighter. Nothing's extremely heavy because it's more about endurance and in distance and things like that. But as a fitness event goes, it's very challenging, and I think there'll be people like if Mathew was to do it, right?
Yeah,
you'd have to get fitter in terms of your cardiovascular. I'm not saying you're not fit, because you are extremely fit in terms of like you've got.
I'll take that.
No, but I've seen you squat. I don't know. Let's say 150 kilos. You've seen you squat for like 10 to 12 reps. Now that takes a lot of, obviously takes a lot of strength, first and foremost, but it takes a lot of fitness as well. I'm not saying you're not fit, but you would need to
I do spin classes.
Probably get lighter and work on your running.
I do like 2, I would need to run. I think my hip flexors and my calves would just go. But hard.
I saw a couple of photos of you, Barry, doing the High Rocks, and you looked pretty hellish.
Yeah.
Like he looked burst.
Yeah.
It looks like it was a hard event. Or you put a lot into that.
I made it look hard, didn't I? I made it look hard.
Anyway.
Yeah, for the photos, you're like, oh, look how hard I'm working.
As soon as
Pour some water on me, I'm sweating so much.
As soon as the guy came round with the camera, I just
Yeah.
Do you think you burnt up nervous energy before the start of that event, though? Because if it's always something you're working towards, like you did with the bodybuilding. You can almost waste an awful lot of energy.
Oh yeah. And we spoke about that a little bit in our own podcast, didn't I? Yeah. Having had experience of doing different things in the past, I knew not to like turn up too early, because you can get yourself all worked up being there far too early. and like almost be like neurally fatigued before you even start. I didn't want to waste all that energy, so I just got myself there early enough that I could, you know, get my boundaries and get my bearings and have a look around the place and do a warm up, but not waste too much energy because, yeah, like the anxiety building up before an event, especially the first time you do something. And I think that relates really quite nicely to like people that go to the gym for the first time or go and start something for the first time or see a personal trainer for the first time. They've got that nervous energy. You can totally see it when you're speaking to them in a consultation. But the second time it's not there. So like the second time I'll do an event like that, there's no way I'll feel as nervous as I did the first time because you've experienced it, haven't you? So yeah, like if you're thinking about starting something, in fact, the hardest part of that whole journey of anybody getting fit or doing anything is getting started.
Yeah,
I
100%,
think.
yeah.
And we touch on that quite a lot in our podcast because we feel it's like such an important thing, you know.
I heard a cracking story this morning. Michael Owen, you know, the footballer.
Yeah.
He was on the Simon Jordan podcast, and he was saying that he was always prepared to fail. And the story he gave was that he'd be sitting in his living room eating an apple, and his dad would like encourage him to throw the apple into the bin, you know, to practice his aim. And he knew that if he hit the wallpaper, his mum was going to go mental, you know. But he said he wasn't prepared. He was prepared to fail, so he would just throw it, and sometimes he would hit the wallpaper, and she would go nuts, you know. And then, of course, when he eventually got it, his dad would give him just like a little nod and a wink. But he said he was always prepared to face his mum's wrath by throwing an apple against the wallpaper.
Throwing an apple.
Look what it got him, though. You know, he won.
Did all right, did
won
he?
a Ballon d'Or, didn't he? I think
2001, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when he scored his hat trick against Germany.
Oh, here,
5-1.
Speaking of that, what do you think of the draw for Scotland?
I'm an England fan, mate.
Are
You're
you?
asking the wrong person.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
Well, England got a pretty cushy draw.
That's what happens when you finish top 5. You know what I mean? You earn the right. You earn the right.
I think we'll do well.
Yeah.
I think we'll do well. Obviously, you know, Germany will be a very, very tough game, especially in Germany. But
yeah, but they're a bit floppy, aren't they?
I think we've done okay against them in the past. Like the games have been close, or I remember a time going over there and getting a draw or something. But
they've been
yeah.
bad. Germany have been bad recently.
They
really
don't have the
bad.
team they
Yeah.
used to have.
They're-
you know.
yeah.
They've got a good team, but they're just not seem to be led very well.
A couple of key players, and
Scotland are doing well.
they are doing well.
Yeah, because you've got the English McTominay scoring goals for you.
That's
What
right.
more do you want?
I know, and there's more to come of them actually. You know, I think
the way he's going.
Steve Clark's down at Newcastle scouting out all the players down there as
get
well.
Gordon in. Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
know.
but you're just a way to give a guy a cap, just so he doesn't play for us.
That's right.
The
Yeah.
boy from Newcastle,
Yeah, Gordon.
Livramento, isn't it?
Oh, Livermento. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
there is someone
The
who can.
fullback.
He can not play for like 3 different countries if he wants to.
I think something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, something like that.
Portugal's one of them, I think.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Oh well.
And he can
Game's
play.
the game.
He can play for Scotland
Game's
as
the
well.
game.
I've actually booked to go to Munich.
Have you actually? I spoke to my dad about going to see a game. I haven't booked anything yet.
Well, I was in the ballot for the
We've
tickets,
not got a
but I never
ticket.
got anything.
We haven't got tickets for the game, but we're going for 3 days.
Yeah, it's
at
the
time,
atmosphere as
at
well.
the
isn't
time
it?
Scotland are playing, so that'll be good.
Yeah, it's about the
Oh,
atmosphere.
that'd be amazing.
Got your Scotland shirt ready, yeah?
I'll get
You've got to get the new one.
get a new one.
The new one's quite nice.
Yeah.
The Scotland top.
Wait,
I like it.
so are we playing in Munich?
We're playing Germany in Munich.
You got the opening game.
Opening game.
Opening
On
game,
the
yeah, yeah.
third.
I didn't realise it was Munich.
I think it's the 14th of June. Yeah, yeah.
It's like the World Cup '98 when we played Brazil in the opener.
Don't remember.
That was it. How old? You'd have been just
It was
I mean,
2-1.
5.
at that time,
And
okay.
also,
2-1.
we watching England.
Yeah, that's right. John
2-1.
Collins got the
John
penalty.
Collins scored a penalty.
Yeah, that was an
Um,
amazing moment, but never lasted long, did it? So lads, folk come into the gym, right, and they're wanting to get fit.
Oh yeah, 100%. Nutrition's like the most important thing, right? Getting them. Although I would probably say, for me, for getting people in, I focus on getting them into the gym, getting a healthy routine. When they've done that, I then kind of like lean into the diet a bit more and go, well, why don't we try this and things like that. I find it very hard to kind of pile on the training and then also the nutrition at the same time. People get quite overwhelmed. Don't know about you, but I find if I can't get them training, I can never get their diet sorted. The training's the fun bit, right? Where you can get stronger, you can get fitter, you can get healthier, all that sort of stuff. Again, if you want to lose weight though, that comes to the diet, you know? So yeah, that's how I would sort of weigh it out. But it's very important. It's a calorie game. You want to eat less and you
Kind of similar.
consume.
Kind of similar to Matthew. Like if you've made the effort to get to the gym, have this consultation, sign up to personal training, and you're committing to the training, so to speak. In your mind, you're already committing to the training. Obviously, we're going to speak about nutrition in the first sort of meeting, but I'm not going to like be so focused on it in the first few weeks. In the next sort of few weeks after that, we'll have to start like addressing things, and then I'll start like coaching you a bit more on that side of it. But yeah, like Mathew said, get you in the door first, get you training well, get some of the basics with nutrition right from the get-go. Make sure you're not coming to the gym, dehydrated or anything like that.
Yeah, or you haven't eaten.
Yeah,
That's a common one. Yeah.
but like we would build that on. We would build it on over time because we don't want to overwhelm you and get you like, failing before you even start.
I've always found that quite hard. Like when you change diet to something, that say it's extremely clean, is to actually prepare and shop for it and everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I suppose
Well, diet's specific to you, right? So it's kind of like the best thing to do is kind of work with someone to slowly improve their diet rather than just going, this is what you should eat all that stuff. Because it's just not that easy. It's like you've grown up eating a certain way, you live eating a certain way, you might have a family and they eat a certain way. To then change that all by one night from having a meet Barry on a Monday night and I'm like, oh, cool, go home. By the way, guys, everything's changing. Chuck the fridge out. We're redoing it all. It's just not going to happen, is it? So it's small changes and then slowly building it up. But it is very specific because you might have foods that you like eating and then foods you don't like eating. You want to get your carbohydrates from one place and not from another. Whatever you bit. It's the key to kind of
everyone's at a
diet.
different starting point. So like you might come to the gym and expect to be handed the same sort of eating routine as everyone else in the gym has got, and we're all doing exactly the same thing. But that's not really how it works. And the reason that's not how it works is because it doesn't actually work, does it?
No, not at all. Yeah.
It may work for a really small percentage of people, but the bigger percentage of people, it needs to be more specific. You know what I mean? So we would work exactly where from wherever you're at right now. That is our starting point, and we want to get you like a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. So it's like climbing the stairs. So if you're at the bottom of the stairs, we'll go 1 step up, 2 steps up, 3 steps up, and we'll keep on climbing, and eventually you'll get to a point where your diet looks completely different to what it did when you started, but it's maybe took a bit of time to get there.
Yeah.
And you might have someone that comes to us where they're already halfway up the stairs.
Mathew, you were saying about calories.
Yeah. So calories, yeah.
Calories have got like a...
Calories.
Calories have got like
It
a...
is. It's
They get good and bad press, don't they?
Yeah. Well, again, like carbs and fats get good and bad press. Like you can kind of see how like nutrition has changed through the years. If you look at like you go through the yogurt section, you have the low sugar yogurts, right? And you have the low fat yogurts. So you have that 90s sort of period where everyone was like, oh my God, fat's terrible. We got to reduce it. And then the 2000s where people were like, oh my God, you got to have low sugar. But it is a calorie game. You want to lose weight, you have to eat less than you expend. But I was going to chat just quickly about like, macronutrient calculators and all this sort of stuff that people use. I'm sure Barry's used, I've used. And I have some great ones that I used to use with clients. But again, as he said, with taking people through steps, is the issue with these calorie/macronutrient calculators is that they'll calculate your ideal where you should be, but you might be 30 steps away from that. So suddenly you get people coming in and going like, oh, I can't really eat 40 grams of protein. I'm like, well, now you've got to eat 200. That's just not going to happen, is it? Or like they're currently 1,800 calories. I'm like, well, you want to lose weight, actually I got to eat 2,500. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I'll just put your calories up to then lose weight. So it is about working with people. As Barry said, small changes here and there, maybe think, let's get a bit more protein in your diet. And then if you get them tracking, if they're comfortable tracking, they're happy tracking, and then looking at maybe where their calories are now. Okay, if you're eating this much and your weight's here, we can adjust that slightly or whatever, or we can just focus on maybe getting your protein up, or maybe getting your balance of your calories better. So like maybe you're really high fat, we can change that to a bit more carbohydrates, etc. So it is all about working with someone, nutrition, and it is a hard process, I would say. It's hard in training. Yeah. Training's fun, it's exciting. Whilst nutrition's inherently kind of boring. It's you in the kitchen when you're by yourself making the effort. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh my God, I just did a new PB. You're like, oh no, I just cooked some chicken and veg.
Well, that's why you should take your time with it. You know what I mean? And it's for your life. You know what I mean? You're trying to help people be better for their life, for long term. It's not just for until they lose a few pounds or get a 6-pack or whatever. And you'll always come back to the basics. So like, the basics that are like things like eating enough vegetables, eating enough fruit, getting your protein up, getting an understanding about calories. Sometimes you've got to teach people a little bit of more about calories and how much calories is in a gram of protein, how much calories in a gram of fat, for example, or this sandwich has this amount of calories, this sandwich has this amount of calories, and just getting people, you might be working on total basics to build someone's knowledge up.
Yeah, 100%.
But like, I'll always come back to like things like, you know, are you hydrated? Are you getting enough protein? Are you including fruit and veg in your diet?
You can even find things like, you know, sleep. People aren't sleeping well, they overconsume, etc. You know what I mean? And it's also being honest with yourself. A lot of people come in and be like, I want to achieve this goal. And then you're like, I had a client once, and great woman. I was like, she wanted to lose weight, etc. Got to a certain point. She's a wine connoisseur, so she loved her wine, massive wine cellar. And I was like, if you want to lose more weight, you've probably got to stop drinking as much wine. And I was like, do you really want to do that? Is that what we do? And she was like, no. I went, well, stop complaining that you're not going to be as lean as you want to be. Be happy what you are, and then you get to enjoy your wine. You get to do your wine nights on a Friday. Have a bottle a week, whatever.
Yeah, there's going to be sacrifice.
Yeah, you've got to. Yeah. At certain levels of leanness, you've got to sacrifice more and more and more. And Barry would know, because obviously he did bodybuilding. Like, he probably sacrificed a lot to get to that sort of level of lean. But if you kind of find a weight that you're comfortable at as well, a bit of honesty there is always really good.
I don't mind that. Like, if a client, like your client there, was honest enough to say to you, look, I'm not stopping drinking my wine.
Yeah.
And I would be like, that's fine. You know, I'm glad we've had this honest conversation. But on the list of priorities, wine is now above losing weight.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And then when you come in and train with me, and you know we're reassessing and we're looking at the results that we've got, and they're not that good. You know, at least now I feel okay about it.
But then they're also
you've got to feel okay about it as well.
100%.
Don't waste energy coming to me
but when they're
crying about it. Do you know what I mean?
They kind of like go
when you've set that as a higher priority to the goals you spoke about at the start. And that's why it always comes back, Michael, to the goals at the start.
I feel like I'd be scared of you, Barry. If you said that to me, I'd be like, I've let Barry down.
Yeah, do you know how much calories in that sandwich? You should have had this one.
But no, go and like purge myself with some water or something, you know.
No, I'm not.
Never drink wine again.
I'm actually not like that. I'm really laid back. But I think over the years you get more experienced at what you do. And I think it's just like you said there, you just have to be so honest with each other, so honest and open, and be like, yeah, well, that's fine. You know, you've not achieved anything now, but these are the reasons why. We're both honest about it, and you know that's okay.
I ask a lot of people that question these days, like, what are you willing to like give up? Like, what do you enjoy? Things like that. Do you enjoy going out with your friends at the weekend? Because you want to get bodybuilding lean. You probably can't manage much of that anymore. You kind of have to sacrifice it. So yeah, it's not nutrition.
I like a drink as much as anyone else, Michael. And
I got him a bottle of gin once for putting a hole in his mat in his gym, and he drank it in like 2 days.
Really?
It was gone. I was like, how was it when it's gone, mate? I was like, already? I gave it to you 2 days ago, mate. It was good though.
Yeah, Matthew came into my gym and basically unloaded one side of the bar. Of a heavy bar.
Right. By the way, I've been training for like 10 years at this point.
So obviously the bar tipped and the barbell made a massive
went through your mat, basically. Cut through your mat. Yeah.
So was the bottle of gin, was that you making up for it?
Yes, an apology, saying, oh, sorry, that was my bad.
I didn't drink it all to myself, though. I shared it.
I've got a lot of gin, to be fair. I like my gin. I've got a lot of balls. You shared it?
I shared it.
With your alter ego. Barry too, necking it.
If you're training for something though, like if you have a challenge, or do you cut out all of that and completely, like, is it clean diet, no alcohol, or
I mean,
can you still enjoy yourself a little bit?
Depends on what you're doing. It's a good question. Depends on the level you're going for. If you're trying to really compete at something, you probably would have to make some sort of sacrifice. Barry, obviously you're doing high rocks, we just chatted about it, but I don't feel like you'd take that as seriously as you would for like the bodybuilding, etc. Possibly, so you're probably a bit more lax. Not like you are lax. But
you don't need to be a certain body fat or anything like that. But you do want to look after yourself and maintain a healthy weight, and also be performing as well as you can when you're like in your training sessions, or as you're getting more closer to whatever event that you're doing. You probably are going to tighten up a little bit. Maybe not consume as much alcohol.
Yeah,
maybe
100%.
Eat a little bit healthier, just so that you feel your best.
Yeah.
You know,
On the day. But if you want to compete at like a good level, you've got to cut out.
Well, I mean, like when I was boxing, I never drank for 2 years.
Did you not? Yeah,
No, I
not
didn't
at all.
drink. And I remember actually this guy came in. He was a friend. I'd won a fight. It was on a show, local show, and I'd won the fight, and he'd also won it. And he came in with an 8-pack of beers, and he went to hand me a beer, and I said, "Oh, like, I don't drink at all." And he's like, "No, but you can have a sip." But in my head, if I have a sip,
It's gone.
if I have a sip, I haven't trained properly. You know,
Oh,
like
really?
and yeah. If I have a sip, one sip of that, that's a weakness for the entire season because I couldn't say no to it. You know.
Yeah, you do find
So-
a lot of people who
it's
are
quite
competitive.
quite
don't
an
drink.
extreme like way to go about it, though, isn't it? Like to like totally like eliminate something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
But again,
like
you don't have to, do you?
no, but I think for most people, it's better if they try and be more inclusive.
Yeah. My mum phoned me up and was like, for Christmas, it's just me, my mum and dad, because my brother works and my other brother lives in England. And she was like, can you please drink on Christmas Day? 'Cause I don't really drink much. I was like,
Okay.
why? She's like, 'cause it's a bit miserable, isn't it? I was like, yeah, it is. It's those three. And I was like, I'll have a couple then, go on.
Did you not have a drink last year or something like?
I don't drink much. My brothers, though, are like,
Okay.
Tom will drink a whole bottle of whiskey on the Christmas Eve. Like, he'll go for it.
You're always out posting pictures of you in a pub drinking.
I don't, not that much these days.
Oh, come
After
on.
lockdown, it was though. After lockdown, after lockdown. But now, not really that much.
Really?
I'm less social. Yeah, I go less. To be
that's
fair,
true.
if I was sharing, I was working Friday evenings and Sundays for a while, so I couldn't really go out. You know, what I mean, I was limited. You can't turn up on a Sunday hungover for a class. You'll die.
No,
You've
that
probably
must be
done that
hard.
before. You've done that before.
When I was a fitness instructor, when I first started out, I was obviously younger, early 20s, early to mid 20s, and yeah, you think you're invincible. You can go out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm working at 6 a.m. Okay, I'll be able to stay out till maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Get home.
Yeah,
be fine.
100%.
Couple hours sleep's all I need. I'll just stay up. Don't get me wrong, I only did that 1 or 2 times.
I had a
but-
guy who I used to work with, and I remember
Bad.
like it was like 3 a.m. and he couldn't really speak. And I was like, he's working tomorrow. Like, what's he gonna do? And I came in. I was obviously I was young as well, so I was out, but I was nowhere near as bad as this guy. So I went to bed and I woke up next day. He was working at 7 a.m. I came in about 7:30. He was teaching a class, and I mean, the guy was smashing it. I remember looking at him across the gym, going like, you couldn't speak like 4 hours ago. How are you managing that? And after the class, it looked amazing.
Aye.
He came through to the office and just like sat there, was like, just don't talk to me, man. I was like, okay, you do you, man.
You probably, I mean, you've got all those calories from the alcohol like to burn
Yeah.
up.
It's terrible. I would not recommend it.
Here,
do not
listen,
do it.
Do you know what I did one year? New Year's Day, I thought I'm going to start as I mean to go on, right? Starting Monday. New Year's Day.
That's a
Come on,
terrible
Michael.
idea.
New Year's Day, I thought, right, I'm going to get my bike and I'm going to cycle up the Cairn Mount, which is like, what, 2,000 foot or something? I don't know. Cairn Mount. So off I go on the bike, and I've gone from Montrose to the Cairn Mount, and I'm absolutely flying along. I got up to the top of the Cairn Mount in no time. I hadn't actually figured out that I had the wind behind me the whole way. So it's like just blowing me along. And then when I turned round, the hangover started kicking in. And I was flipping cycling back into the driving snow. It was like snowing and everything. It was absolutely horrific.
That sounds terrible.
Oh,
On New
it was
Year's Day.
New Year's Day. I thought
That's
it was a
a
good
day of
idea.
rest.
Well, I was still drunk when I got up. You know, I was like, this would be a great idea.
terrible.
I'll
Yeah,
go and
that's
cycle up the
terrible.
Cairn Mount.
Drinking and even training. Like,
Are you
anything like that,
training?
terrible.
Are you training just now, Michael?
Not that much. I go
You
to...
did a mile run. What are you on about?
Yeah, I ran a mile.
Guy's an athlete.
No, I've been doing this. I'm on a special diet.
Tell us
Oh, well,
about it.
go on. Special
us about
diet.
No,
yeah.
I'm taking part in the Zoe study. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No idea.
That's
Still
the thing that
beans.
you
Yeah, go
get
on.
stamped on your.
Yeah, you have a. So I have a blood glucose monitor in my arm, which is everybody.
You know about it.
I don't
Been on TikTok
know
or something?
a lot about it, but it comes up in my Instagram.
Does
Yeah,
it?
sitting here, everybody should wear a blood glucose monitor and just see. It's so fascinating.
So what do you do?
Well, so they
what
do
is it?
they do a number of tests. They test your gut health, your blood fat response, and your blood sugar response to foods. And then when they have all this data and you log all your food and everything, and when they have it all, they'll tailor a diet specifically for you. So, for instance, maybe you eat something like a steak, and that doesn't affect you. But I eat a steak, and it takes me ages to clear the fat from my body. So I'm more prone to inflammation.
Okay,
so
that's quite interesting.
Yeah, so what they'll do is if that's your situation, they'll try and find meats, like for instance, white fish is maybe better than having fatty like cod or like steak or something like that. So
yeah. So just finding what suits you.
Yeah, so they kind of tailor your diet and they give you a whole list of foods to eat. And
how long do you have it for?
well, so the blood sugar thing, you only have to wear that for 2 weeks, so they can kind of profile you. But what an insight it is. Unbelievable. I mean, the things I thought were healthy and okay for me, like bread, for instance. Bread, that sends my blood sugar sky high.
So are you following like a new way of eating just off the back of this?
Yes, yeah.
And do you... And
can you have bagels but not bread?
So is that actually...
I love a bagel.
No, anything like... well, I mean, so they don't exclude any foods, right? But they'll say if you're going to have something like bread, right, which is going to send your blood sugar really high, you want to be having something with it like that's fatty or got protein, like peanut butter or avocado or something like that's going to take the blood sugar down a bit, slow it down. And a healthy fat as well, not like, ham or processed meats or things like that, So, since I've started doing it, so I'm having to eat 30 different types of fiber a week, which is not like, so it's not, 15 sweet potatoes and 15 avocados. It's 30 different fibers because they want you to feed the bacteria that they've identified in your gut, which they think will help your metabolism and all these other things. The interesting thing is, like you were talking about how you get people in the gym first and then you get them onto diet. Since I started this diet, I've kind of been wanting to go to the gym more.
You might, to be fair, that does happen. It does
but that's
happen,
okay as well.
Yeah.
I've had a few people come in who are like clients and being like they've lost weight through nutrition predominantly, or just like going for walks, etc. And then they want to take the next step and get stronger and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, you do find that, but it is, people usually think I want to lose weight and they will probably go to the gym first rather than the other way around. But obviously, and then you're looking at nutrition first.
I just feel more energetic from it. But when I'm telling you the foods that I'm eating, it's pretty obvious, to be honest.
Why did you do
it? Out of interest, I think. Like I've tried all kinds of like fad diets in my life. Everything going, and I've tried different sports and all that sort of thing.
Keep asking them why. We'll get.
Just keep going. Why?
You're asking why? Why did I?
Just ask why again.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? There's
I was
a thing.
bored on Google, mate.
No, there's a thing. I was talking about boxing there. So like that, I really enjoyed being that fit when I was boxing because I was like 5 stone lighter than I am now, and I'd like to be back at that. That's my why. I'd like to be back. I like the feeling of running up the stairs.
Would you go back to boxing sort of
Not
style
a chance,
training?
No.
Would you do the training side of it though?
Maybe. Actually, I used to run a lot and I hated that. That was just like it served a purpose, the running.
But you went to the gym and the first thing you did was go on a treadmill and run a mile.
And run a mile, yeah.
I hate running.
Yeah.
Give me the treadmill.
Is there a reason why you want to go back to that person that you were? Like, were you happier then, or did you feel more confident then?
Yeah, I like it when your clothes fit you really well.
Yeah.
You can wear a sharp suit.
Yeah.
You can run up the stairs 3 at a time. And every sport that I took part in at that time in my life, I was good at. No matter what, if it was badminton or I used to do duathlon or anything, I would
probably
do
had
well at it.
a positive mental effect on you as well, on how you feel mentally.
Oh, definitely. I think.
Yeah.
Well,
unless you went super extreme with it.
It's highly stressful boxing, like because you're starving all the time and you're sore all the time. It's like your body aches all the time.
But you don't have to go back to that because that was when you were like trying to compete at a certain weight and things like that. Is that right?
It's weird. I actually liked, talking about this stress, I actually quite liked to be stressed because when you go into a boxing match, you don't want to feel comfortable at all. You want to feel agitated, like kind of...
You get buzzed, don't you? Is that what it is? You see a lot of football players chat about like being in front of a crowd, etc. Yeah, like the tension, like it builds up. They get like a buzz from it.
There is that, but you want to feel like I think they say that back in the day in that sport, going back to the times of the Great Depression, the best fighters were hungry fighters, and what they mean by that was they weren't hungry to win; they were literally hungry. They were literally fighting for food because they didn't have any food, and I get that because when you're hungry, you do fight better. Like see if you're starving, you kind of get a little bit kind of like angry, not angry, but you're kind of like you're. I actually think it's like an evolutionary thing. Going back to the times of when we had to hunt for food.
Yeah, possibly.
You were more motivated to find food when you were a little bit hungry and a little bit. Probably you could take an animal down better or whatever. That's what I don't
So
know.
it's a mindset thing for you. It was more focused about how your mind was for that.
That's why I
for
was
that
asking
fight.
you about challenges, because
Yeah.
like for me, a challenge really motivates me to get fit because you know,
Yeah.
If you're gonna-
at an event or something.
yeah, if
something
you're going to
look
fight
towards.
someone in front of everyone, that could go really badly
Yeah,
wrong.
Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Look at that body of an athlete.
I'm not sure I want to fight somebody on an empty stomach though.
I'm not sure I want to fight them with a full stomach either.
No,
so I'm
man,
being
I
honest.
want something
One
in there.
body shot, you covered the whole ring.
I boxed a guy up an inch once, and
In an actual proper fight, yeah.
it was a
Okay.
boxing match. It was
That's this guy. He didn't,
was
he
it the
didn't speak
Benahi?
much. He was running away from me, but I
Yeah.
kept hitting him.
Well, so the Benahi Centre, and I remember going into the ring like far too comfortable. Like I just my mind. I was thinking about laminate flooring that I was laying in my kitchen, walking into the ring. That your
Yeah,
head's
probably the
not
wrong
on
idea,
it.
yeah.
I should have been hungry. I should have been angry. I should have been like ready to fight, and I was going in there so comfortable, like just not prepared.
Too laid back.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
you
that's
need
fair.
stress.
You do. No, you do. Yeah. There's a level, right? It's like when people get anxious for like a big lift, a bit of that, bit nervous, bit of anxiety is good, but when it goes too far, it's bad because you're negative. You're like, I'm not going to manage this and all that sort of stuff. So a little bit.
You can burn up so much
Yeah.
energy.
How,
like we
how
were
I
talking.
relate to that is basically knowing that I've done the work in the training. Do you know what I mean? Like if you put the training in,
you're like,
and-
I've
and,
earned this. I
If you
know it's
work
gonna
really
happen,
hard in
yeah.
your training, then I feel like you go into whatever it is you're going into with like a really, strong mindset. But if you've sort of not put the effort in, you're going in with a little bit.
I quite
a little
like
bit of
doing
fear.
things without training though at the same time, just knowing that, you know what, whatever happens, happens. I did a 10K without training for it once. I ran a K and went, nope, not training for it. I'm just going to turn up and do
Yeah,
it. And it was awful, but like I managed.
You
And I
did
quite
it.
enjoyed being bad at it. I don't know if you enjoy a bit of pain, a bit of suffering,
Yeah, of
It's
course.
all right, It felt good.
Wow.
That's what
you-
training's all about, really. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't train.
Boxing, unfortunately, you can't. You can't
No,
just
you're going to
have-
get battered.
You can't
yeah.
just have a go at it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I've seen, in fact, you mentioned Tyson Fury. I actually think that last fight you had with what was the guy's name, Ngannou.
Yeah.
He looked like he was just getting by on knowledge, and he hadn't trained for it. To me, I thought.
I never saw it,
Supposedly
but I
he said he
heard
trained
how it went.
properly for it. You guys saying he trained properly for it, but yeah.
Nah, I mean, when you look at the way he boxed against Deontay Wilder and
Yeah,
Did he not,
and
did he not
process
just scrape
of-
through? I saw it. I never
Aye.
seen the
It
fight.
seemed
did.
like he, to be
He did,
fair, he
yeah.
actually sort of lost it, didn't he? I haven't really watched it. I didn't.
Well,
Just
it's
heard.
pretty debatable. Like it wasn't a conclusive hammering. He didn't win well.
Yeah.
Put it that way. I mean, the
But it was better than he should have been.
the statistics were in his favor, but I don't think as a fan you were like, well, he's done himself proud there. Like he let himself down. I thought, and I'm a big fan of Tyson Fury. I really like Tyson Fury, but I've seen him box better than that. And you see people like that.
I like his attitude as well.
But they just think I can get by on what I know. I'm boxing an MMA fighter, so I don't really need to train. I've got the knowledge, and you
but
end
some
up
people,
getting
some people are
embarrassed.
Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean?
It'd be okay if you were Floyd Mayweather. I mean, he's got a little bit more knowledge than most, doesn't he?
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Have you guys got favourite sportsmen?
It's a good question. I feel like both of ours are going to be football players, aren't they?
Well,
Mine's a football player.
Michael Jordan. There you go. Non-football. Not non-football.
Michael Jordan's
The
your
la- right.
sporting hero.
The last
I
guy,
wouldn't say he
I'm
was my
calling.
my main
Bullshit.
sporting hero, but definitely one of my top. Definitely my top five.
the last guy I had in the podcast had Michael Jordan as well.
Yeah, but he
there
was
you go.
American, wasn't he?
David Ling. Yeah, no, he's
Don't need to be
Canadian.
American,
Canadian.
Matthew.
Oh, come on. You've got who's your number one sporting idol?
Well, see, growing up, I was really into Diego Maradona. There you go.
You're a Diego Maradona fan. All right,
Yeah.
interesting.
It's a sore one, that, isn't it,
Not
Matthew?
at all. My dad loves Diego Maradona. Thinks he's the best thing ever. Well, Gary Lineker, then Diego Maradona. Mine's Paul Scholes.
Really?
I loved Paul Scholes. As a
Man
kid. You can
United
ask
fan.
my dad, he'd be like, he wouldn't say Man United are playing or England are playing. He's like, oh, Paul Scholes on TV. When I was a kid, I'd go, run through and go watch him. I love Paul Scholes.
Thought you said Tiger Woods as well. Did you not?
As like a sporting icon, yeah, Tiger Woods is up there with one
Yeah.
of the most impressive, I would have to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Really impressive guy.
people like Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, these type of guys, they've just got like an unbelievable mentality. And like,
Yeah, there's
you know,
something different.
that's why like I'm sort of drawn to that type of character, just because like they've got this like winning mentality that's like way above anyone else. Do you know what I mean?
Currents would be like what Cristiano Ronaldo and like even Messi. They've
And
got
like
these
Ronaldo's in that
mentalities,
same category.
Yeah,
like
they've just got some drive that they just. It's never going to be like they're never going to be satisfied. There's always something more.
yeah,
You know what I mean? There's always something else they can achieve.
like I mean they're obviously very talented sportsmen, like very talented, but I feel like it's their like character or their like discipline or something deeper that's made them as big as what they are. Maybe not Tiger Woods, but I'm talking more like,
But then he came
Ronaldo,
back,
for
didn't he?
example.
Tiger Woods came back, and I'll take my hat off for him for that. But like, if you take like you said Maradona, but Maradona hit a peak and then gave up
He just
and
self-combusted
retired.
completely.
Yeah, you're George Best, like unbelievable football players who just gave up. But then there's some mentalities in the world where they're just different. Like they achieve, but still somehow it's just not good enough. You're Kobe Bryant, for example. Like, you hear a story about him
that's
turning up
another
for
one.
training for like 3 hours before the game and like kept training, and you're like, this guy's crazy. Like something different about him.
I'm envious of that. You know, I wish I could find that kind of like just unstoppable drive that they have.
Yeah, an unbelievable work
There's
ethic. Yeah,
something that I
it's
think
like something's wrong.
well, I mean, Tiger
It's like
Woods had a
something you
lot of
just
problems
can't-
in his life.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Didn't he?
yeah. He
You
did.
know?
Yeah, he did.
And also, I mean, here's a good one. Have you ever seen the Free Solo?
Yeah,
He was chatting about that on
Yeah.
one of our podcasts.
So
yeah.
the guy that
guys like that as well.
Yeah,
I
but
love
that-
these
right.
guys.
that did you see the way he treated his girlfriend in that? He basically said to her, he said, "Look, climbing's more important than you." And
Lovely.
I wouldn't even, and he reiterated that many times throughout the documentary, and it's like his whole world is climbing. Nothing can encroach on that. Like he's literally told
Yeah.
her it's about the climbing, and if you're going to be a problem, you can go. And she was happy to support him, thankfully. But there's definitely something not right there.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a bit of mentality that's
It's
like
kind of
something
how
different.
that guy or people like that, sportsmen like that, probably end up getting to levels they get to because they're just different. Do you know what I mean? They're just different to everyone else.
Yeah.
Like nothing's standing in their way, you know? And like probably that side of it is like, you know, that's definitely not me. I don't particularly like that side of it. But like if you want to be
Yeah, I don't have that mindset.
the best, the ultimate best, then I guess you need to be a bit like
I don't
that.
even
yeah.
think the drive is to be the ultimate best. It's just, it seems like there's something more. You know what I mean? Because like you take people who've like achieved so much but still want more. It's just I don't get it.
I
very
did
impressive.
read Joe Calzaghe's book, and he was one of those guys that was just obsessed with what I mean. He had 24 world title title fights, and he just kept going, you know. And there's no need to. He could have
But he's
retired.
got to, yeah.
He kept going until he literally couldn't. And I think his motivator was losing. That's what motivated him, because he lost in the amateurs, and he was so devastated by losing.
That's like
That he
Floyd.
just
Didn't
wouldn't-
Floyd Mayweather lose in like the Olympics, and then he never lost
in the
since.
Olympics, yeah.
And he's never lost again. He was like crying outside, and then since then he just dominated. I love him. He's my top boxer, Floyd Mayweather. I think he's just unbelievable athlete,
Do you know-
unpunchable.
Do you know something? I hated him during his career, but I actually really appreciate him
I think he's
now.
probably the best boxer for a long time.
Yeah,
But
he was so
he's a bit of
special.
he's a bit different. Like, I wouldn't go for a beer with him, put it that way. You know, you've got something to say. Go on.
No, my boxing knowledge isn't that amazing, so I'm not heavily involved in this conversation just now. But
he's just on the back
I'm just sort
burner.
of sitting here listening in. But
You got a favorite boxer? Mike Tyson.
yeah,
Easy as that.
Mike Tyson. I mean, growing up liking people like Mike Tyson and Diego Maradona, like two seriously bad people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one went to prison and the other one liked
But they're just
other stuff.
two talented people. Do you know what I mean? Like really, really good at what they do. And I think when you're
Yeah, it's an
growing up,
interesting
you're
point.
attracted to people that are really good at something. You know, you don't really delve too much deep into like their character and things like that until you're a bit older and you start.
Yeah, both of them came from like complete poverty, didn't they? Tyson
Yeah.
and Maradona.
Yeah, and I like stories like that as well. To be fair, I'm going to go home and watch Rocky.
Yeah, I mean, how you know, if you come from a kind of a privileged background, where do you find the drive to get to the top.
You do see it though. Like even you take people for like example, you're talking like bodybuilding, etc. Like Jay Cutler, he was like what 3 or 4? I can't remember 3 or 4 time Mr. Olympia, but he was from quite a privileged background. It depends. It's very hard. It's very easy to like withstand adversity when it's like when stuff's tough. You can be a good character. When stuff's easy, I think it's harder to be a good character. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there must be a lot of well-off people though who are quite like
It's an interesting one.
well achieved.
But you do see a lot of football players, especially like South American footballers that have come from like nothing, and you know, you just wonder like, if they got that a little bit more hunger. Is that why they're where they're at?
Yeah, but you see, they usually do sports that they can easily do, and football is it's a cheap sport, isn't it? As a kid, you like chuck down some jumpers and have a ball and kick it about. You know what I mean? So you see, like African runners, for example. I think like 80% of like African runners come from one small village in Africa.
You know
what I mean? It's just like.
But there's the thing: if you come from a poor place, I'm not saying this was a poor place in Africa, but chances are they didn't have a lot.
But you could run.
Running's open to you.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's
like
free.
The Winter Olympics and all that seem to be like the more upper class sports, don't they? Like I've never even gone skiing. You know what I mean? I didn't go do a ski all day.
They're expensive sports.
Yeah.
In fact, let me just. I've got a bee in my bonnet about one of these sports they had in the Olympics. I think it was during the London Olympics. They had sailing.
Yeah,
that's the most inaccessible sport to anybody.
Yeah, true.
Sailing. Now, I don't. It's a fine sport.
Are they not taking things out of the Olympics that we were in the Olympics for a long time? Like, well, lifting, for example.
Possibly, yeah.
Weightlifting. Was weightlifting still in it?
No, weightlifting's still in it. Weightlifting's still in the Olympics.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I asked you one of my ending questions already, which was who would you speak to on a podcast kind of thing, and you said Michael Jordan. But did you put a name forward?
I said Paul Scholes.
Paul Scholes, that's right.
Paul Scholes is my hero.
Yeah.
No, I've got a better answer than that.
What's your better answer? Go on.
Alex Ferguson.
That is better. That's more you. You're
Fergie
an Aberdeen fan
great.
and a Man United fan, and you want to meet Alex Ferguson. I respect that.
We need to get Fergie on the podcast. How's that going to happen?
Oh, I know a guy.
He comes to Aberdeen. Barry, you must know somebody.
I don't think I can pull it off.
That'd be a hard one. Yeah, that'd be a hard one.
That would be the ultimate conversation.
I don't even know what I'd say to him.
It'd be a lot of like nerves. I'd need to get over the nerves quick.
Like, so 13 Premier Leagues, how were they?
No,
but again, impressive.
We'd be speaking about Aberdeen before we got into that.
But to be fair, my hero for football manager,
I should have said
Brian
him
Clough.
when you asked me. Actually, he's probably my ultimate hero.
I love Brian Clough.
He was kind of a hard man of football, wasn't he? Brian
I love
Clough.
him. I love his interviews and everything.
Mess.
I love him.
I do like seeing that video.
Right hook the guy who ran on pitch, and then the guy apologised to him on TV, and you're like, Cloughie, you're a guy, man. You're a guy. You won two Champions Leagues or European Cups in Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, that's
unheard
impressive.
of, just crazy stuff.
How is he coaching people though? Like, what's he? Are they just purely afraid of him?
What, Brian Clough?
Aye.
No, Cloughie was more. He had Peter Taylor, and he was more. Like, you could tell he was more the coaching side of like the actual football. And Clough was just a very good man manager, like Ferguson was a very good man manager, dealing with people. You know, like you want to sign someone, he would go around to your house and chat to you. He wasn't like one of these guys just like work through agents and all that. Now he would speak to you and chat to you and get you on the team. Guys like your Roy Keanes and all that played for him.
I don't think you get coaches like that now. Managers.
I don't
like
think
that
you could.
Yeah,
the way that they would have treated people.
I heard
do it these days.
I heard Graham Souness talking on a podcast that he was saying that you know, any trouble in the dressing room now, the players are just straight to their agent.
Yeah.
You know, I'm speaking to my agent.
Social media, it's very toxic these days. You know what I mean? Again, if you're talking like in terms of fitness, etc., people comparing themselves or venting, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's never good, is it? It's never good.
Yeah, it must be hard for a manager to like pull people together as a team when you have just a lot of individuals now.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
they've all got their own little brand deals, and when you're a manager, to walk into that and.
I guess they've got to figure out how they motivate millionaires. You know what I mean? Motivate extremely rich people.
That's a good point.
That have got everything that they want in life. You know, and they've just got to come up with ways to keep them you know, hungry and motivated, and you know,
'Cause you
thinking like they were when they first started out and wanted to become a football player. I guess that's what I would do anyway. That's how I would do it.
You go down to Manchester United and have a chat with Ten Hag. You know, tell him he needs to find what they like, get them playing good football.
That and tactics and buy the right players and keep them
money
fit and all the rest of it.
Way to pay their wages and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, the joys.
It must be. It's a tough job. Like
it's a thankless job.
I'll still do it though.
Barry, have you not worked in? Did you not work with some St Johnstone players for a while? Or
No,
football
Partick
players?
Thistle
Partick Thistle.
for a couple of seasons as a strength and conditioning coach, or fitness coach, and yeah, helped him out in the pre-season periods, and then just continued through the season with sort of strength and conditioning, speed work, speed agility, quickness work, anything fitness based or nutrition based. That was kind of like my role. And yeah,
Did you get free tickets?
I was at the games.
Oh, you got all the games?
Yeah, I was there. I took the warm ups.
Oh, right, that's pretty cool.
So I took all the warm ups and got a seat in the dugout. So got to
Nice.
see got to see
Front row.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a great experience because obviously, you know, I love my football. So to be like in that environment and in the changing rooms, in the dugout, watching all these games, well, top level games in Scotland, it was exciting.
Who was manager at that time?
Alan Archibald.
Okay.
And yeah, the first season, well, they stayed up. Yeah, the aim was to stay in the league because they just got promoted. And it was 2014, I think. And it was the year Hearts got relegated. So I don't know if you remember that year.
Yeah, Scottish football over my head.
But
No idea.
one of the cool things was we actually went to Manchester United's training ground, Carrington. And we went away in the winter break, and we were staying down somewhere near Manchester, just like a training thing, and like getting a couple of motivational speakers to the hotel to speak to the players, things like that, because you know they were wanting them to come back and like really make a good go of like this relegation battle that they were in, make sure the team stays up. So we played a friendly against like a younger Man United side at Carrington. I think it was probably more like an under 18 side.
Any names?
Do you know what? I was thinking about that the other day.
Yeah, it must be
I
someone.
wish I'd like
must be
taken a
someone.
picture of the team sheet or something, so I could actually like look back and see who was playing that day. But I can't actually remember. But we did win 5-0.
Why?
Yeah,
They were
but we had like guys that were like in their 20s playing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of guys in their 30s.
Do you think it was under 18s?
But I think it was under 18s, 18 round about that age group. But there would have been guys there that were like already costing Man United a couple of million or whatever. Like they would have bought them from somewhere in Europe and with the hope that
Pump
they'll
them for the
become,
money and hope for the best.
you know what I mean? So it was still a good result, but what an experience, like going down there. And I think it was Nicky Butt that was the manager of the under 18s,
Yeah.
or this side. So, and then, you know,
You'd have been keeping an eye out for Scholes down there. He must be around here
I
somewhere.
love Paul Scholes, honestly.
sniffing him out.
What a guy. Apart from when he was biting his daughter's toes or whatever he was doing.
What?
Remember that video?
He's biting his daughter's toes.
You not see that video? It went viral like about a year ago of him like biting his daughter's toenail or something like that.
No, I
Oh,
must have missed
it's
that.
horror.
Toenails. Ugh.
Absolute horror, yeah. Yeah. Paul Scholes is the boy. See a pass from anywhere. Unbelievable.
He played in the golden era of Man United, though.
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah.
You know, it was a great team they had at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I know, don't keep reminding me because
You get flashbacks.
we're nowhere near that now.
I watched your game recently. You were not too bad.
Quite good last night, were we?
Yeah.
I think like Garnacho's goal is atoned for every sin going. You know that overhead kick that just
Suppose every Man
incredible.
United player says it's the best goal ever.
Would you say that's one of the best goals you've seen ever?
No.
What's your best goal?
There's quite a lot of, to be fair, there's a lot of good overhead kicks, although it's a very good overhead kick.
Because a
It
lot of
is.
people are saying that's the best overhead kick, but
I feel like the positioning and the angle he was at was really impressive, but it was against Everton, who are fighting relegation. So I'm kind of like,
so you're like, but focus
But
on the goal though.
What I would say is the best overhead kick hurts me deeply because it was against the team that I support. Ibrahimovic, Sweden versus England. That
was
overhead
quite
kick
far
is
out. That wasn't it?
absolutely ridiculous.
Do you think
and
that was a great goal as well? But
And then Gareth Bale's because of when it was.
I actually like Rooney's one in the City in the Manchester derby.
Again, I would say that's a bigger event when you
It's
do
like
it.
the winner. It's later on in the game
Yeah, it's all about when you do it,
in
right?
quite a high profile game.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the Garnacho one. You know, first half of the season.
It was his
Not-
first league goal.
No, was it?
Yes.
And
And he
he-
scored, and the guy did that. Thank God it went in. I was
a
like,
good start.
the ego on you to
Yeah.
try that when you haven't even scored in the league yet. It's crazy.
I don't think he had an option. I think it was the only shot he could take
Because
because his angle
Dallo
that
just
he was.
boots the ball into the box
Yeah.
at 100 miles per hour.
But yeah, going across the box, the way that he cut it back towards the far corner as
Oh,
well.
yeah,
you
beautiful.
know,
Beautiful.
Having the confidence to do it.
yeah.
It's definitely there's
Because
a
99 times
there was
that's
an
going.
AC
That's,
Milan
he's
overhead
missing
kick,
that.
which is unbelievable. Can't remember the guy's name, like Mexis or something like that. Played for AC Milan, unbelievable overhead kick, but it's probably top 3 or 4 ever. Gotta be.
I liked Maradona's goal. You know the
Yeah, to say it's the best goal ever when you got the hand of God.
not the hand of God, the other one he scored
yeah.
in that game.
Oh, when he skinned like 5
Aye,
players.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
It was a
good
good
times.
goal.
It's always against England, isn't it?
Yeah. But
It's always against England.
speaking
Why
of
is it always
that, like
against
my son puts on the World Cup final, the most recent one, all the time. And
That is the greatest game of football I've ever watched.
the goal that Di Maria scored, the whole build up to it,
Di Maria's
team
unbelievable.
goal. Oh,
Yeah.
what a goal!
It's the save at the end that gets me. Like, you know, the save at
Yeah.
I mean, that's a goal. That's definitely a goal. And he's just pulled off that save.
Yeah,
Like,
it was an unbelievable game.
What a game! You know,
The best.
who
It's
would
gotta
have
be the
thought
best.
that? What did Mbappe score? 3 penalties in that game.
I can't even
Scored 3.
remember.
He's the only.
Well, he got
he's
a
the
penalty.
second player ever to score a hat trick in a World Cup final, and he's the only player ever to score a hat trick in a World Cup final and lose. The only player to score a hat trick in a World Cup final and win is anyone? I've got a signed boot in my bedroom.
Hat-trick
He's
in
the
a
only
World
man of the
Cup final.
1966 England team to still be alive.
Oh, is it
Go on.
Jeff Hurst?
Jeff
It's
Hurst,
Jeff
aye.
Hurst.
There
I
we go.
got my dad a video of him saying happy birthday to him.
Have you actually?
Yeah.
So he's the only one still alive.
Jeff Hurst, the last one, yeah. He was out there for Bobby Charlton's thing.
Well, lads, just a couple more questions.
Yeah, fire away.
for
First,
it.
what would you advise? Just give one piece of advice to anyone that's thinking of starting Monday.
Start Tuesday.
For us, it's currently
No, we're
it's
joking.
currently Thursday. Let's go.
Let's get down
Do it now.
there.
Yeah,
Get
do it
stuck
now.
in.
Do it now. Right now. Get up. Go to the gym, or sort your nutrition. Whichever way we want to do it.
Well, I would say exactly the same. But what I would say as well is that don't be scared. You know, if you fail, you know what I mean, you might fail. You might not do really well in the first few weeks or whatever, and you might end up back at square one, and that's fine. But don't let it stop you starting again. You know what I mean?
It's good.
Always-
Failure is an option.
You're in it for the long term. It's not going to be. It's not going to be like a linear process. It's not going to be straightforward. It's not going to be like how you're probably picturing it in your head. It's actually going to be like a lot more complicated than that. And, you know, if it doesn't work out in the first few sessions or whatever, you know, just stick at it, keep going, even though you've missed a week or whatever, you know, just commit long term. That's what I would say.
All right. And where can people find you? Where can they find you? Where's the Starting Monday podcast hosted?
We're on everything, aren't we?
I don't know. Are we?
Spotify, Apple, the whole lot. We've got an Instagram account. Barry won't give me the login details for it, but Barry's got the Instagram account. And then you can find us also on social media. You're Barry Stephen PT, and I'm Percival Personal Training.
We're pretty.
And the podcast is linked in both of our. No, it's definitely linked in mine. I don't know if it's linked in yours.
We're quite busy on Instagram, I'd say. So you could find it. Best place to find us would be on Instagram.
Yeah.
My website is barrystephen.com. You can get all the socials from there. The Starting Monday podcast, if you just search for it on Spotify, it'll come up. Ask Alexa, it'll come up.
Yeah, you can ask Alexa, to be fair. I've done that.
Yeah, find us on Instagram.
Okay. And when's the next episode of the Starting Monday podcast coming out?
It's right now. It's coming out right now. When's this getting released? Soon. Very soon. We've got a good one next, don't we?
Yeah, we're obviously up until this point, I think we've done what, 20 episodes, maybe something
like
around
that.
about that.
Yeah, around about that.
It's just been me and Matthew, and we've been discussing different things and chatting about different things. But we're hoping to start interviewing one or two guests as well. So yeah,
Oh, I look forward to that.
Bringing on some more interesting people than us.
Cool.
It's not hard.
All right. Well, lads, listen, thanks very much for coming
Pleasure.
in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Really appreciate it.
All right.